The road ends somewhere outside Lucin, Utah. The sand keeps going. I drive until the map turns blank. There's nothing but wind and a single dirt path that looks like it forgot where it was supposed to lead. The sky is pale and swollen with dust. The radio went silent an hour ago. Even the static died. I step out of the truck. The air feels heavy, like the moment before a thunderstorm that never comes. There's no sound, but my boots pressing into salt and gravel. Far ahead, I see the shadow of a building. It looks like a church at first. Then I realize half of it is gone. The roof is caved in, the cross melted into the stone. When I touch the door, ash falls from the hinges. A sign above the arch reads, St. Lazarus Chapel. The letters are carved deep, but something tried to burn them away. Inside, the air is colder. Light slips through holes in the wall and paints thin lines across the floor. The pews are broken. The altar is cracked open like a wound. It smells of iron and old rain. I sweep the dust from the altar. Underneath, someone has etched a series of numbers and a name. Ward Memorial Lab. There's an arrow pointing down, my father's handwriting. I remember being a child. My name is Nathan. He used to draw strange symbols in the corners of his notebooks. When I asked what they meant, he said, "They keep the light away." That was the last time he looked at me the way a father should. I push aside the debris behind the altar. A narrow stairwell waits there, choked with sand and rusted air. The metal steps groan under my weight. Halfway down, I notice scratch marks on the wall. 5 vertical lines crossed once, counting days, or maybe nights. The stairway ends at a sealed hatch. The paint is peeled to gray, but faint letters remain. St. Lazarus Containment, Level 7. Someone has taped a note beside it, paper eaten by time, words barely visible. Do not open without clearance. The ink bleeds like dried blood. I press my palm to the metal. Cold. Too cold for a place that has slept under desert heat for 30 years. A soft vibration hums beneath the surface like a machine that never stopped breathing. When I lean closer, I hear something behind it, not movement, a low rhythm, beating. I turn the wheel lock. It resists, then yields with a single gasp of air. A breath escapes from the dark, dry and chemical. My flashlight cuts through a narrow tunnel, concrete walls, old warning signs, everything buried under decades of dust. Each step I take echoes far longer than it should. The tunnel widens into a chamber lined with steel doors, every door marked with a code I do not understand. Most are sealed. One stands open. Inside that room, I find shelves of tapes, each case labeled by hand. Brian, Sandra, Wesley, Tristan, Paul, the names from the reports that disappeared with my father. A thin layer of frost covers the recorder on the table. It should not be that cold here. When I touch the play button, it sticks. Then it clicks. A voice comes through the speaker, rough and tired. It says only one sentence before the tape ends. Seraph is stable. The light reacts to the prayer of mercy. The sound fades, but something else starts. A faint hum fills the room. Lights overhead blink once, then a single bulb turns on by itself. There's another door in the corner, heavier than the rest. On it, painted in red, are 5 words. Do not enter the lower vault. The paint is still wet. I step closer. My reflection wavers in the metal like water. For a second, it moves when I do not. The hum grows louder. It sounds almost like breathing. Then it matches my own heartbeat. I take one step back. Dust falls from the ceiling, soft as snow. The bulb flickers 3 times. Somewhere in the dark, something answers the sound. Not a voice. Not yet. I pull out my flashlight again. Its beam trembles across the floor. I see footprints ahead of me, bare feet, small, leading toward the lower vault door. They stop right where I stand. The air tightens. The hum stops. Silence folds in like a curtain. I can still feel the beat through the floor. It is slow, steady. like a pulse that belongs to the earth itself. I tell myself it is just the wind trapped in the vents. Maybe it is, maybe it is not. The flashlight flickers once more and dies. I am left in darkness. It feels alive, and somewhere deep below, I hear the sound again, a rhythm, a breath, a heart. I whisper my father's name. Nothing answers. When the lights return, they do not come back all at once. They breathe, one bulb at a time. Each one flickers awake like it remembers how to glow. I stand still. My eyes try to adjust. The air tastes of metal and mold. There is water somewhere, dripping slow and patient. I move through the corridor. Each step feels heavier, as if the floor wants to hold me in place. At the end of the tunnel, a door stands open. The word archive is painted above it. The letters lean, peeled, almost erased. Inside, the temperature drops again. Rows of shelves stretch into the dark, boxes stacked to the ceiling, old reels, cassette tapes, folders sealed in wax. A faint hum fills the space, too low to be real sound. I can feel it in my ribs. There's a desk near the back wall. A small lamp lies on its side, the bulb still warm. Next to it sits a recorder, the same kind my father used at home. A note is taped to its handle, written in pencil, barely legible. For review, Ward Memorial Lab, 1989. I brush the dust off the buttons. When I press play, the tape groans. Static first, then a voice, familiar, low, tired. This is Brian Ward, entry number 5. The subject shows response to light at variable frequencies. We have begun the next phase. Prayer resonance, then silence, just the tape spinning. But behind the static there is something else, a faint sound, a heartbeat, slow, wet, human. The voice returns. We call it seraph. It does not sleep. The tape stops. Click. I take a step back. The air shifts. The shelves creak. One of the reels falls and breaks open on the floor. Inside the cracked plastic, a film strip glints under my light. Images pass by too fast to see. But one frame catches. A hand pressed against glass. Pale, long fingers, eyes staring from behind the reflection. I pick up the reel. It feels warm. The film smells like smoke. In the corner of the room, a computer tower hums. It should not be alive. The monitor is dead, but the fan spins. A faint green light pulses under the case, old tech from the 80s, but breathing. I reach down and touch the metal. It vibrates once, then stops. A single file name flashes across the dead screen. Seraph data accessed. I freeze. The light fades, then the speakers crackle. A whisper crawls through the static. My name, Nathan. I pull the plug. The noise stops, but the hum remains. Now it is inside the walls. I sweep my flashlight across the shelves again. There is movement this time. The dust floats backward, pulled by something deeper in the room, a draft from nowhere, like the air itself is exhaling. I find another folder tied with red string. The paper is brittle, half dissolved by moisture. When I open it, I see sketches, anatomical drawings, wings, veins spread like roots, each labeled with notes in my father's handwriting. Vocal cords developed, luminescent tissue stable. At the bottom, one line reads, "Response to human voice confirmed." I read it again, then a faint echo answers from the dark corner of the room. The same sentence, repeating, word for word, but slower, and not in my father's tone. The recorder clicks again on its own. Same voice, same static. Entry 6. Light interaction complete. The body breathes. Then a thud. Then nothing. I stop the tape. The silence after feels louder than the noise. I turn toward the exit, but the hallway looks different now. Shorter, tighter. The walls seem to lean inward, closer each time I blink. I hear the drip again, closer now. It sounds like it is coming from the ceiling. A drop lands on my hand. Not water, sticky, dark red. The beam of my flashlight follows the stain upward. There's a vent above me, rusted shut. Something wet moves behind it. I take a step back, almost tripping over a box. Inside the box, more tapes, all labeled with the same code. Protocol G, Archive Room 7. The ink still fresh, as if someone wrote it today. A single bulb in the center of the ceiling starts to swing. Its light brushes over the far wall. Letters appear under the dirt, written with something that once shined. 5 rules for entry. I stare at the words. My heartbeat slows. I think of the note on the altar above, the same handwriting, the same uneven ink, my father's hand. Even after all these years, it found a way to guide me here. The bulb keeps swinging. Its light cuts the room like a blade. Each pass makes the shadows shift, and somewhere inside them I hear that heartbeat again, steady, patient, waiting. The light keeps swinging above me. The shadows rise and fall with every breath of it. When it finally stops, the room feels smaller. I can hear the hum again, steady and low. There's a table near the far wall. A folder sits on top, sealed with tape that is turned brown. Across the front, someone wrote 2 words, Gabriel Protocols. I pull the tape off. It peels slow, like skin. Inside, 5 pages, each numbered, each written in the same uneven hand I remember from my father's notes. The ink bleeds into the paper. It smells faintly of smoke. I start to read. The first page says, 1. Do not pray within this place. There is a red circle drawn beneath the line, a fingerprint smudged into the paper. I whisper the words to myself. The hum fades when I speak. When I stop, it comes back, like it is listening. The second page says, do not speak the name Seraph. I trace the edge of the page with my thumb. The letters feel warm. Someone pressed too hard when they wrote them. The third rule reads, do not turn off the light during the 7th hour. The corner of the paper is burned away. A faint scorch mark crawls across the table beneath it. Rule 4. If you hear wings, do not look back. I pause there. My chest feels tight. The air doesn't move, but I hear it. A single beat, like a wing brushing the air somewhere deep in the tunnel. The 5th rule is written in smaller letters, almost hidden under the fold of the paper. If you see white light in a mirror, leave it once. The pen has torn through the sheet. There is a stain beneath it, brown, old. I do not think it is ink. I close the folder. The room feels colder. The hum changes pitch, softer now, almost gentle. It sounds close to my ear. I turn the flashlight toward the far wall. A mirror hangs there, cracked down the middle. I'd not noticed it before. The glass looks clean despite the dust. When I step closer, my reflection moves a little late. Not by much, just enough to make me stop breathing. I move the light away. I do not look again. The folder trembles where it sits. The paper shifts like wind touched it, but the air here is dead. Something under the table knocks once, then again. A slow rhythm, like knuckles on metal. I crouch down. The beam cuts across the floor. There's a vent below the table. Inside it, something wrapped in cloth. I reach in and pull it free. The fabric falls apart in my hands, a rosary. The beads blackened, half melted. The cross bent sideways. I hold it up. The hum stops. For a moment, there is nothing. Then I hear whispering. It sounds like my father, or maybe just the tape playing itself again. I cannot tell. The recorder on the table clicks without me touching it. The same voice begins, Entry 7, protocols confirmed. The subject reacts to prayer. A pause. Then another voice, softer, a woman this time. It hears us. The tape ends in a static burst. The bulb overhead cracks. Glass rains onto the floor in tiny pieces that glow for a second, then fade. I pick up the folder and tuck it under my arm. Something tells me it does not want to stay here. When I step into the hallway, the hum follows. It echoes inside the concrete like breath behind my shoulder. The corridor turns left, then down. At the end is another door, marked with paint that has started to flake. Sub-level access, level 7. The wheel lock is rusted, but the dust around it is disturbed. Someone has been here recently. I kneel to check the floor. Footprints, bare, small, the same as before. The trail leads under the door. It vanishes into whatever waits below. I glance at my watch. The screen has frozen. The second hand stopped on the number 7. The air tastes of iron again. Dry, bitter. From somewhere past the door, I hear a single thump. Then another, a rhythm, not footsteps, not a machine, a heartbeat. I remember the third rule. Do not turn off the light during the 7th hour. I check my flashlight. The beam flickers once. I tap it. It steadies. I rest my hand on the wheel lock. It is warm now, like someone on the other side is holding it too. The hum grows louder. The walls vibrate. Every bone in my hand feels the pulse. I do not know why, but I start counting under my breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each number feels heavier than the last. On 6, the hum stops. The silence feels alive. And somewhere below, the 7th hour begins. The door gives after a long pull. The sound it makes is not a creak. It is a sigh, like the building has been waiting for this. Cold air rushes out. It burns my throat, tastes like metal and old rain. Something sweet hides underneath. My light cuts through dust that drifts like snow. The hall beyond is lined with speakers, dozens of them, stacked to the ceiling. Each hums on a different note. Together, they breathe. I move forward. The hum rises with each step. It feels like walking inside a lung. A control panel waits near the wall, buttons red with rust. One switch still glows faint green. Someone left it on. I touch it. Warm. Alive. When I flip it down, the hum dies. Silence comes hard and fast. Then the speakers whisper, all of them at once. Static breaks open like teeth grinding. A word forms inside the noise. My name. Nathan. I stop breathing. The echo crawls along the walls, slow and patient. Each speaker repeats it at a different time. Nathan, Nathan, Nathan. A chain of voices chasing itself into the dark. My fingers shake on the switch. The green light flickers. One voice grows clearer than the rest. Familiar, old. It sounds like my father. He says the rules in the same calm tone I remember. Do not pray. Do not speak the name. Do not turn off the light. The sound loops, becomes rhythm, a chant without words. I press my hands to my ears. It does not help. The sound is not outside anymore. It is behind my ribs. Stop, I whisper. The chant stumbles. One speaker answers. You open the seal. The voice is softer now, gentle, almost kind. Who are you? I ask. My voice sounds small, like it came from someone else. You know my name. It says, you called me when you listened. The static folds back into quiet. For a heartbeat, the only sound is me. I flip the switch up again. The lights return. The chant dies. Then one speaker pops. Smoke rolls from the grill. Far down the hallway, another speaker clicks on by itself. Red tape covers its front. The tape peels away in a slow curl. You should not be here, Nathan. It says my name like a parent scolding a child. Not angry, just certain. I'm here to find him, I say. My words echo softer than I mean them to. To find my father. A pause. Then the voice answers, he is not lost. The lights dim. The speakers hum again, lower now. The tone slides into a pulse, a heartbeat that does not belong to me. The sound grows wet, heavy, close. The air thickens until every breath tastes of iron. The mesh of the red speaker bends outward. Something presses from the inside. Shadows move behind it, slow and deliberate. I back toward the door. Each step makes the floor vibrate. The hum climbs up my legs. The rhythm follows my heart until both beats are the same. Another speaker bursts. The smell of burnt wire fills the corridor. Through the smoke, a whisper moves like wind through water. "You heard the light," it says. "Now it hears you." I do not answer. I only run my hand along the wall until I find the exit handle. The metal is hot. I pull. The door opens wider than before. Light leaks through the crack. White, still, alive. I remember the fifth rule. If you see white light in a mirror, leave it once. There is no mirror here. Only this door. I step through. The hum fades behind me. The light inside the hall trembles once and goes dark. The corridor ahead smells like wet stone. The walls glisten, slick as skin. My reflection swims across them in pieces. Sometimes it looks back a second too late. At the far end waits another door. A plaque beside it reads, "Observation Chamber." The letters cut deep, filled with dust. The handle shines clean, as if someone just touched it. From behind the door comes a sound, not the hum, not a machine. Breathing. I lean close. A voice slides through the crack. Calm. Tender. "Do not be afraid." I breathe once and lie. I am not. The handle moves on its own, only half an inch, enough for the light inside to find me. White and soft and endless. I close my eyes, and the voice says, "Then come in." The door opens before I touch it. The sound it makes is soft, like breath pulled through teeth. Light spills out, white and slow, curling around the edges of the frame. I step inside. The room is round, walls lined with glass panels and wires that hang like vines. Screens blink faintly under layers of dust. A console stands in the center, half buried in sand and old paper. Everything hums, even the silence. The plaque on the wall reads, "Observation Chamber, Ward Memorial Lab." The paint is not faded. It looks new. Too new for a place forgotten since 1989. I wipe the dust from the console. A screen flickers awake. The light stings my eyes. Words crawl across the glass. Playback ready? Archive footage. I hesitate. Then I press the button. The screen clears, static first. Then an image forms. A room like this one. Same walls, same lights. But everything clean. Alive. 5 people stand around a tank filled with milky fluid. Their faces are pale behind the glass reflection. Name tags on their coats flash under the lights. Brian, Sandra, Wesley, Tristan, Paul. My father looks younger than I remember. He is smiling. He says something to the camera, but there is no sound. The tape has no audio. Only the hum. The camera moves closer to the tank. Something inside the fluid stirs. A hand floats up, fingers long and thin, reaching toward the glass. Someone steps back. Sandra, I think. Her mouth opens, but the tape stays mute. A line of light runs down the tank. Then it cracks. Fluid spills onto the floor. The figures panic. They shout words I cannot hear. One of them, Wesley, holds up a cross. The light bursts and everything goes white. The screen cuts to black. A voice slips through the speaker, faint but clear. Entry log complete. Seraph awake. I turn off the screen. The echo of that voice lingers in the air. It feels heavier than sound. It feels alive. I walk around the console. Behind it, a smaller monitor glows blue. A list of files scrolls on repeat, each labeled with a date, August 12, 1989, August 13, 1989. The last one blinks red. Access denied. I try again. The key flashes green. A new window opens. Footage plays automatically. It is the same room again, but darker. Only 2 people remain. My father and someone standing in the shadows. The voice on the tape is my father's. "We should stop," he says. "It is not an angel." The other voice answers, calm and cold. "It was never meant to be one." There's a pause. Then my father whispers, "What have we done?" The second voice replies, "We have proved he still listens." The tape cuts off with a short gasp. The room around me is silent again. but the hum is louder now, deeper, like it comes from the walls themselves. I step closer to the tank in front of me. The glass is empty. The floor beneath it is cracked and wet. A dark stain seeps through the concrete. When I touch it, it feels warm. The hum changes tone. It becomes a pattern. One long note, too short. It repeats. A code, maybe, or a heartbeat trying to speak. From behind me, a voice says, "You saw it too." I turn fast. No one there. Just the empty doorway and the sound of wires breathing. "Who is that?" I say. The voice answers from everywhere at once. "You saw what he saw. Now you will finish what he could not." I step back until I hit the console. My flashlight flickers. The screens flash white, then black, then white again. Shapes appear in the light, hands pressed against glass, faces watching from the other side, mouths moving without words. The speakers crackle. One last fragment of the old tape plays. My father again. His tone is breaking. "If anyone finds this, seal it, burn it, never let it speak again." The message loops once, then again. Each replay grows fainter, until it sounds like a whisper behind my ear. I turn around and the words change. "You should not have come back." The room darkens. The hum becomes a deep vibration rising from the floor. The glass walls shiver. Tiny cracks crawl outward like veins. I grab my bag and the old folder from the table. Something tells me to run, but I do not. I wait. The light in the tank flickers on by itself. Fluid begins to fill it again from a pipe that should be dry. The glass glows from within, blue at first, then white. The hum stops. A single voice speaks through the speakers, soft, almost human. "I remember you." The light dies. Darkness swallows the chamber whole. It holds its breath. I can feel pressure building inside the room, low and steady. It presses against my ears like deep water. The floor hums again. This time the sound comes from beneath my feet. The vibration climbs up my legs, through my ribs, into my chest. It feels like a heartbeat that does not belong to me. I step closer to the tank. The surface of the glass ripples as if something beneath it is moving. The light grows brighter, a pulse that keeps time with the hum. Dust lifts from the floor, floating in rings. A single drop of liquid runs down the inside of the glass. It is dark, thick, alive. The line it leaves glows for a second before fading. Another drop follows, then another. Soon the glass looks like it is weeping. I whisper to the air, "Father, what did you make?" The speakers answer with a hiss. For a moment, nothing but static. Then a faint voice, broken but clear. "You should leave, Nathan." My knees go weak. I know that voice. It is him. It is my father. "Where are you?" I say. The sound comes again, closer. "Below. I am below." I look at the tank. The light inside shifts from white to red. The hum becomes a slow rhythm, deep and uneven. Something pushes against the glass from within. A hand, then another. The shape inside moves like it is trying to stand. I step back until I hit the wall. The air feels thick enough to touch. Every breath tastes of rust and dust. The hum climbs higher, filling the chamber with heat. The glass stretches, veins of light crawling across its surface. The voice returns, louder now. Not my father this time, not human. It says, "You opened the seal. You called the name." "I did not," I whisper, but my voice shakes and the words come out like a lie. The figure inside presses closer. The light flares. For a second, I see a face through the red haze. Not fully formed, but almost. Eyes without pupils, skin pale and wet like new glass. Wings begin to unfold behind it, thin and trembling. The chamber vibrates. Bolts fall from the ceiling and scatter like teeth. The speakers crackle to life. The same voice repeats one line again and again. "I am awake." Each repetition grows louder until the words merge into one sound, a scream that never ends. The glass shatters outward, spraying the room with shards that burn like cold fire. The light rushes out with it. I fall to the floor. The hum stops. Everything stops. For a moment, I think it is over. Then I hear breathing. Close, slow, wet. When I open my eyes, something is crouched where the tank used to be. It is not standing yet. It moves like it is learning how. Its back rises and falls with each breath. Steam drifts from its shoulders. I crawl backward until I hit the wall again. My flashlight lies near my foot. I grab it and aim it at the figure. It looks up. The light catches its face. No eyes, only hollow sockets that reflect white. The mouth opens and a sound comes out. Not a word, not a cry. Something between them. It vibrates through my teeth. It tries to speak. At first, it is only noise. Then the shape of my name forms inside it. Nathan, I shake my head. No, you are not him. The thing tilts its head. When it speaks again, it uses my father's voice. I am what he left behind. The lights in the room flicker one by one. The air bends. The walls ripple like water. A faint glow rises from the cracks in the floor. It looks like veins of light searching for something to feed. I feel heat building in my chest, a pull under my skin. The hum starts again. Softer, but inside me now. My heartbeat begins to follow it. Same rhythm, same pace. I try to speak, but my mouth feels full of dust. The thing straightens. Its wings stretch wider, half bone, half light. The tips brush the ceiling and leave black marks wherever they touch. The voice shifts again, echoing from all directions. You carry his blood. I cannot move. It takes another step toward me. Every light bursts at once. The room goes dark, except for the faint glow from its chest. There, deep inside the light, something moves. It looks like a heart, but too large, too bright. Stop, I whisper. The creature pauses. For a second, everything is still. Then it leans closer. The smell of burning air fills my lungs. Its voice drops to a whisper. I cannot. A pulse of light throws me backward. The walls split open. The hum turns into a roar. Every surface vibrates until the world feels thin. Then silence crashes down like a wave. When I open my eyes, I am on the floor. The chamber is empty. The tank is gone. So is the thing that broke it. Only one sound remains. A faint heartbeat echoing through the walls. Not mine. When I wake, the light is gone. The chamber smells of metal and ash. Dust drifts in slow circles above me. Everything is quiet, too quiet to be real. My flashlight lies cracked beside my arm. I shake it once. It flickers weakly, enough to show the room. The tank is gone. Only a dark ring stains the floor where it stood. The air above it shimmers, thin and hot. I pull myself up. Every muscle shakes. The walls hum, faint but steady, like the building is trying to breathe again. I do not know how long I was out. Something glints near the console. A tape. Black case. Half melted. Words burned across the label. Brian Ward. Final entry. My throat tightens. I sit by the console and feed the tape into the recorder. It stutters, then begins. His voice fills the chamber. Calm at first, then breaking. This will be my last record. If anyone finds this, you must understand. We thought we could give God a body. He coughs, metal scraping in the sound. We called it Seraph. It was not a name, it was a warning. The tape pops. Silence. Then his voice again, quieter now. I used my blood. We needed a pattern that could hold the light. Mine was the closest. It answered. I press my palm against my chest. My pulse feels wrong. Off rhythm. Father continues. It spoke in dreams before it ever breathed. We heard it through the machines. It wanted a name. Stops, then, barely a whisper. It wanted mine. The tape distorts, warping into static. Then, another voice cuts through. Not his. Low, smooth, familiar. You offered yourself. I freeze. The voice is in the room, not on the tape. It moves around me, soft as breath. I look toward the broken tank. A shimmer stands there, faint light bending like smoke. You gave it shape. the voice says. I gave it reason. My stomach twists. I whisper, "What are you?" "I am what he left behind," it says. "You are what remains." The light flares just for a moment, and I see the outline of a man. His face is half shadow, half memory. He looks like my father, but the eyes are hollow light. "Father?" The shape tilts its head, not a nod, more like curiosity. "I carried his blood. You carry his silence." The words cut through the air like heat. I can taste iron. The recorder starts again on its own. My father's voice returns, rushed now, desperate. "It is changing me. I can feel it in the bones, in the light. If you find this, Nathan, do not come here. The blood remembers." The tape ends in a scream. Not his voice, something deeper, something without shape. The lights in the ceiling blink on by themselves. White, harsh, endless. The walls ripple like water. I see movement inside them. Faces, hands, each pressing outward, stretching the surface like it wants to tear free. The shimmer in front of me fades, leaving only air. But the smell stays, burnt air and something sweet like rotting fruit. I grab the recorder and shove it into my bag. The hum follows me as I move toward the exit. It pulses in time with my heartbeat. No, not mine, his. The corridor beyond feels smaller than before. The lights swing overhead. Each bulb hums the same tone the voice used. I can still hear him whispering between them. "You carry what I gave you." I press a hand to the wall. It vibrates, warm, alive. Every pulse runs through the metal and into me. My fingers glow faintly for a second, then fade. The stairwell waits at the end of the hall. The sign above it reads, "Level 7 Access." A new line has been written below in fresh ink, "Return to the blood." I stop at the top of the stairs. The air below smells of dust and static. Somewhere deep under the floor, a rhythm starts again, slow, patient, calling. I whisper to no one, "What do you want from me?" The answer comes from every direction at once. "To finish the prayer." I grip the railing until my knuckles ache. "I am not him," I say. My voice shakes. The hum does not. For a long moment, nothing moves. Then the sound fades, drifting deeper into the tunnels. It leaves me alone with the dark. I stand there until the silence feels heavier than fear. Then I start down the stairs, step by step, toward the sound that keeps calling my name. The stairs end where the air runs out. The last step sinks into dust and bone-colored sand. I shine my light forward. A door waits, taller than any I have seen down here. Its surface shimmers, breathing slow. The metal looks soft. Something moves under it, like veins of light crawling beneath skin. I press my hand against the surface. It beats once, like a heart behind a wall. The hum starts again, low, endless. It fills my teeth. The air shakes in rhythm. A small plate near the door glows with a pulse of blue. Letters fade in and out. Containment Atrium, Ward Memorial Lab. Someone has scratched another line beneath it. "Do not open." It remembers. I should turn back. I do not. The wheel lock turns easier than it should. The air that spills out is hot and dry, thick with the smell of dust and something electric. Inside is a vast room with no ceiling, only blackness that climbs forever. The floor curves inward like the inside of a bowl, every wall lined with cables that hum and flicker. In the center stands a column of glass, shattered. The ground around it covered in white residue that looks like ash and salt. Something glows faintly in the ashes, a shape, a body trying to remember itself. I step closer. The glow brightens, heartbeat steady, patient. The form inside shifts, pulling itself together piece by piece. A rib, a shoulder, a face, all made of light pretending to be flesh. I stop just short of the edge. The hum grows louder. The air vibrates like a living drum. My knees want to give out. A voice rises through the noise. It sounds like my father at first. Then not. Each word echoes twice, once in his tone, once in mine. You came back. My throat is dry. I had to know. Know what? The voice asks. Why you left me here? I do not answer. The figure unfolds its wings, long, fractured, half light, half shadow. They scrape against the walls with a sound like stone breaking under water. You called me, it says. You woke me. Why do you hide your eyes now? You are not him, I say. It smiles, or something close to a smile. The movement cracks the skin of light across its face. He wanted to see God, it says, so I showed him what was left. The hum deepens, the floor trembles. Every cable along the wall lights up in sequence, a ring of fire without flame. Inside the glow, I see things moving, shapes, shadows, faces I almost know. Each mouth opens, whispering my name. Nathan, Nathan, Nathan. I step backward, but the ground moves with me. Every step feels heavier, slower, like gravity thickened. The voice follows. You carry him, his blood, his voice. You were born to finish the prayer. The light behind it flares white, swallowing the shape. When it dims again, the thing that stands there is not my father, not human, not angel. Its eyes burn like glass catching sunlight. The wings drag lines of black across the floor wherever they move. It spreads its arms. Feathers fall like ash. The hum becomes words. I am not Gabriel. The sound cracks the air. Every light above bursts. For a moment the room is a storm of glass and white fire. I drop to my knees, covering my head. The voice rolls through the dark again, louder, clearer. I am what you made when you tried to find him. I open my eyes. The glow is gone. Only its silhouette remains, black against darker black. I can feel it smiling, though I cannot see its face. I whisper, "What do you want from me?" To be remembered. The floor splits open. Light pours upward, blinding and warm. Inside the light I see shapes rising. Arms, wings, faces, 1,000 reflections of one form, all reaching toward the ceiling that does not exist. The sound becomes unbearable. Every bone in my body shakes. My vision flickers white and red. The air smells of rain that has never touched ground. It speaks again, louder than before. You built me to speak for him. Now I will finish what you started. I try to stand, but the pull of the air keeps me down. I shout, "You are not his voice." The answer comes slow. I never said I was. A pulse of light rips through the room. The hum turns into a roar that bends the metal around me. The ceiling splits open, or maybe it was never there. Wind rushes down from nowhere. Ash and feathers spiral upward into the dark. Through the roar, a whisper slides close to my ear. Soft, almost human. Tell them he was listening. The light explodes, the air collapses, then silence. When I open my eyes, I'm on the floor again. My flashlight still works somehow. The room is empty, no body, no wings, only a single black feather resting on my chest. It beats once, then stops. When I wake, it is daylight, real light this time. It leaks through a hole in the ceiling. Soft and colorless, dust dances inside it. The floor beneath me is cold stone. The air smells like old fire and rain that never fell. I'm back in the upper chamber. The stairs behind me have collapsed. There's no way down. The feather still rests on my chest, black, thin as smoke. When I touch it, it feels warm. A pulse moves through it, slow as breath. I sit there for a long time, waiting for it to stop. It does not. The beat keeps time with my own heart until I can no longer tell which belongs to me. I put it in my pocket and stand. The silence feels heavier than noise. Each step toward the exit sounds too loud. I keep looking over my shoulder. expecting to see wings in the dark. The door to the surface hangs open. Wind pours through it, dry and cold. The desert waits beyond, flat, empty, endless. When I step outside, the sun hits me like a new world. The truck is still there, half buried in sand, its windows covered in dust but intact. The keys hang from the mirror where I left them. I start the engine. It coughs, then lives again. The radio crackles, only static. Then a voice slips through, soft and broken. "Nathan," I turn the dial. The voice fades, but the static stays. It sounds like breathing. I drive until the chapel becomes a dot behind me. The mountains on the horizon look like black teeth. The sky burns white. I keep the window open, just enough for air, but it feels wrong, like something invisible is riding with me. I take the first paved road I find. A green sign half buried in sand reads Lucin Road, eastbound 76 miles. I do not remember it being that far. Hours pass before I stop. The fuel light blinks red. I pull over near an old gas station. The place looks abandoned, but the power hums quietly under the ground. A single vending machine stands near the door. Its screen glows. When I pass it, the light flickers. A message flashes for half a second. Return the feather. Then it goes dark. I freeze. My hand touches my pocket without meaning to. The pulse inside the fabric answers me. One slow beat. I whisper, "What do you want?" No one answers, but the wind shifts. The sand moves in small circles around my boots. Something about the pattern feels familiar, like the rhythm in the lab. I open the truck door and pull out the recorder, the one that held my father's voice. When I press play, it clicks but makes no sound. Then the tape spins backward on its own. A new voice speaks. "Do not keep what remembers." I turn it off. The silence that follows feels alive. I drive again, east toward Wendover. The road stretches straight for miles. The sun begins to fall, turning the sand red. Every mile marker looks the same. Every shadow moves a second too late. By the time I reach the town, the streets are empty. A motel sign blinks, half dead in the dusk. I take a room. The walls hum faintly with the same tone I heard underground. I sit on the bed and take the feather out. Its color has changed, no longer black but a deep red where the light touches it. When I hold it closer, the pulse grows stronger. The sound fills the room, quiet but steady, like a heart trapped inside glass. I record a message. My voice sounds small. "This is Nathan. I found what was left of Project Gabriel. I'm sending everything I have to the only address still marked on the files. Vatican City, Sanctum Compartment B12. I place the feather in a small metal box, wrap it in cloth, and seal it shut. Then I write 3 words on the lid. For review only. Outside, wind drags across the parking lot. The sound is the same rhythm again. Beat, pause, beat. I mail the package the next morning. The clerk does not ask what it is. He only stares at the address for a long time before handing me the receipt. 3 days later, a box appears outside my door. No name, no mark. I open it carefully. Inside lies another feather, black, perfect, still warm. I pick it up. The pulse matches mine exactly. A voice moves through the air, quiet enough to be imagination. "You returned one. Now we return another." The lights in the room dim. The walls breathe once. The pulse keeps beating in my hand. I whisper, "What are you?" The answer comes soft. "I am what you prayed for." The wind outside stops. The silence lasts too long, and the feather beats again.
I am what you prayed for.